They marched me through the crystalline hall of the Scytherian citadel, chains clinking against the obsidian floor. Around me stood guards twice my height, plated in iridescent armor and armed with pulse staffs. I was a prisoner, humanity's latest trophy to the Scyther Empire. Across the galaxy, people spoke of the alien Queen Seraphis with fear. Her power was absolute, her armies endless, her will unbreakable. They said she had conquered 83 worlds without ever stepping onto a battlefield. They said she could twist the mind of any species that dared resist her. I never believed in legends. Not until I stood before her. The throne room unfolded like the inside of a nebula, blue and violet light swirling through transparent walls as if space itself was breathing. At the end of a long hall, she sat upon a throne crafted from metallic vines that pulsed with bioenergy. Her presence was impossible. She was beautiful in that terrifying, unearthly way, silver skin like moonlit water, eyes of burning violet, hair flowing like living shadow. She wasn't just a ruler. She was something beyond mortal boundaries. The guards forced me to my knees. Human prisoner 317, one announced, captured during the failed rebellion on Vesper 4. Sentenced to interrogation. Her eyes locked on me. I felt it, not pain, not fear. Recognition. As though she was staring at a ghost. The room grew silent. The guards waited for her judgment. Then she spoke, not with the cold authority I expected, but in a whisper only I could hear. Cadian. My blood ran cold. That name, no one knew it. Not on this planet. Not in this galaxy. It was the name my mother had given me, a name I had buried with my past. How do you know that? I gasped. Her eyes softened, not with mercy, but with memory. Because you once said it to me. A ripple of shock moved through the hall. She turned sharply toward her guards. Leave us. They hesitated. Even her own soldiers feared being alone with her, but she repeated the command. They obeyed. When the doors sealed shut, all sound died. I rose to my feet slowly, even with chains weighing me down. I've never met you. I would remember. You don't, she answered, because your mind was altered. And your body rebuilt. You were not meant to return. She stood and descended the throne steps. Every step she took radiated power, not violent, not oppressive, but ancient. When the Scytherian Empire first reached Earth, she continued, you were the first human ever to volunteer for peace negotiations. You offered yourself to prevent war. I shook my head. That never happened. We were never told. They erased it, she whispered. She reached toward me, and a holographic memory projection sprang to life. A younger version of myself, standing not in chains but beside her, smiling. No fear. No hatred. We spoke as equals. Partners. I staggered back. That's impossible. You forged an alliance with me, she said. And with it, peace. Until your own leaders decided peace equaled weakness. The memory shifted. An explosion. Soldiers of Earth storming the treaty chamber, dragging me away. A flash of white light, and then nothing. The recording ended. They wiped your memory, she said, her voice trembling slightly. They feared you had grown too close to me. Why would they fear that? Her eyes met mine, and I understood before she spoke. Because you loved me, she said softly. And I loved you. My thoughts scattered like dust in a storm. I wanted to deny it. I wanted to accuse her of deception. But deep inside, something familiar echoed. A warmth, a comfort, a truth I never knew I'd forgotten. If that was real, I muttered, why bring me here in chains? Because I needed to be sure, she answered. To see whether the man I once loved still existed beneath the programming. She raised her hand. A pulse of energy surged through the chains, unlocking them. The metal fell to the floor. My wrists burned with sudden freedom. "You are never my prisoner," she said. "But the galaxy believes you are, and for now it must stay that way." "Why?" She turned toward the vast windows, where fleets of Scytherian warships drifted against the star-streaked void. "There is a war coming," she said. "Your people plan to strike first. They will use your capture as justification. If we do not act, this galaxy will burn." A part of me, the soldier, the rebel, wanted to object. But another part, something buried for years, remembered trust. "What exactly do you want from me?" Her voice was not commanding. It was pleading. "Stand by my side again. Not as my prisoner. Not as my enemy. As the one person who ever saw me as more than a weapon." I didn't have a memory of that man, but something inside me ached to become him again. "Even if I wanted to," I said, "even if I believed this, my people will never trust me." She nodded. "I know. They fear what they cannot control." "Then what's the plan?" Her lips curved into a sad smile, the smile of someone who has already accepted the impossible. "We let them come. We show mercy instead of fire. We give them no enemy to fear." "That's suicide," I whispered. "It is hope," she corrected. I stared at her. This queen feared across galaxies, this being who could shatter worlds, yet asked for peace instead. I realized then why she was feared. Not for cruelty, but because no one could understand a ruler who wanted compassion instead of domination. And suddenly I knew. The man in the recording wasn't gone. I had buried him because it hurt too much to remember a life sacrificed for nothing. I took a breath. "If I stand with you, the galaxy will paint me as a traitor." "Perhaps," she answered. "But history remembers truth, not headlines." I stepped closer to her. "Then I choose you. Again. Even if I don't remember the past." Her hand trembled as she reached for mine, not with fear, but relief so deep it shook her. When our hands met, an energy surged through the room. Not magic, not technology, something older than both. Her eyes brightened. "Then we change fate, together." The alarms suddenly blared across the citadel. Human ships had arrived. Earth had come for war. She didn't order her fleets to fire. She didn't activate planetary shields. She simply stood beside me, fingers intertwined with mine, facing the vastness of the sky. "If they fire," I whispered, "we'll both die." She looked at me, not as a queen, not as a ruler of star systems, but as a woman who once lost everything and dared to hope again. "Then let the galaxy witness what love looks like." The sky lit with explosions, then flickered, then dimmed. Earth's ships had halted, not because of weapons, but because they saw the broadcast. She had projected the memory of the truth across every screen, every channel, every ship. The galaxy learned the lie. The war evaporated before it could begin. Peace, for the first time in centuries, became possible. When the transmission ended, she looked at me with soft triumph. "This time," she whispered, "they will not erase us." And for the first time in my life, or the life I could remember, I felt whole. Not as a soldier, not as a prisoner, not as a forgotten experiment, but as the man the universe tried to erase and failed. I closed my eyes and exhaled. "I am Cadian," I said softly, finally accepting it. "And I am yours." The Scytherian queen smiled, not the smile of a conqueror, but of someone who has found home. And in a galaxy big enough to swallow stars, that was the most powerful victory of all.